Hello, Rama Pupoda. Hope all are in good health, feeling great, wonderful, having a happy and peaceful life. Now let's continue with kunjuswamy. Ramakrishna Swami had a younger brother called Vasu who was studying in a college 400 miles from Tiruvannamalai. One day he got a letter from his family that Vasu was following a Hatha yogi who had taught him the practice of concentrating between the eyebrows. Vasu was so steadfast in doing this that he had almost turned mad. He was not able to eat or sleep and was in a pitiable condition, but he would not listen to his family's advice to desist. Ramakrishna Swami told Bhagavan, who knew all the family members, Bhagavan, if I go, he will not listen to me. Then Bhagavan said, Kunju, you go and tell him about the teaching. Ramakrishna Swami had only 5 rupees to give Kunju Swami. It was enough to buy a train ticket, but not for the food on the way. They didn't know how to tell Bhagavan this. Finally, Kunju Swami said, It doesn't matter. Bhagavan had asked me to go, so I will go. It is all right, even if I remain hungry. His train was at 6:30 in the evening. At 3 that afternoon, a visitor brought puris, an Indian fried bread. Bhagavan used to eat two if they were small, or one if they were bigger. Bhagavan practiced equal sharing. If there was only one puri and many people to share it with, he would make it into smaller pieces and distribute them equally to everyone. But on this day, when puri was served to him in the hall, he did not stop with one. The visitors gave Bhagavan 2 puris and waited, then 3 and waited expectantly, then 4, then 5, then 6. Only then did Bhagavan say enough. Everybody was surprised that Bhagavan had accepted 6 puris when he would normally eat only one. He then slowly and neatly packed 5 puris and called Kunjuswamy, who had not yet told him of his problem. The master compassionately told him, You have got money only for the ticket, but what will you eat? Take this to eat on the way. Kunju was so moved that whenever he narrated this incident, he would cry and bring us to tears too. Bhagavan's tender, loving, and caring ways are so beautiful. Kunjuswamy too was very caring. Over the next 2 days, he ate only 4 puris. He kept one as prasad because Bhagavan himself had packed it. He took this prasad to Ramakrishna's family and fed it to Vasu first. Then he took a little time to divert Vasu from his path of Hatha Yoga to Bhagavan's self-enquiry. After staying for a few days and ensuring that there was improvement, he returned to the ashram and reported this to Bhagavan. Before he could return, a letter had already reached the ashram saying that Vasu had relinquished all Hatha Yoga practices and was now practicing meditation as prescribed by Bhagavan. Vasu later joined the army and became an officer of a high rank. I met Vasu after he retired from the army. He was a tall, hefty 6-footer with a very simple heart. Thanks to that little prasad of puri and of course self-enquiry. Kunjuswamy used to narrate many stories. There was a man called Kadaswamy in Tiruvannamalai who was a murderer and abhorred by all. One day he fell gravely ill and people drove him out from the town. His only shelter was a mandap in front of Ramana Ashramam. He stayed there and sent word to Bhagavan that he was hungry. Bhagavan made gruel and sent it across every day. Before we proceed with the story, it must be known that Bhagavan never ever commented despairingly about any person. Whenever Bhagavan received news that a devotee had passed away, he commented on what a good man or woman that person was. Even if the said person had hundreds of faults and only a few good qualities. Bhagavan dwelt only on the positive traits. When his devotees heard that Kandaswamy had died, they were sure that even Bhagavan wouldn't be able to find a single good quality in this abysmally wicked man. Expectantly, they went and informed Bhagavan of his death. Oh, Kandaswamy has passed away, Bhagavan exclaimed. He used to keep his body and clothes very clean, even though he did not use soap or soap nut powder. He used to bathe and clean his dhoti for hours together and keep it spotlessly clean. Bhagavan, we are all defeated, they said in unison. What happened? They replied. We thought that even you would not be able to find a single good quality about this man, but we have failed. Bhagavan, you have defeated us. Kunjuswamy also gave us many instances of Bhagavan's humor. When letters arrived, they would be taken to Bhagavan in the hall and the devotees would observe Bhagavan's face as he read them. From his expression, they would know if there was something interesting in the letter. Once, Bhagavan held a postcard in his hand and then just kept it aside. But his smile gave him away. Kunjuswamy ventured to ask, Bhagavan, I know that you have read something interesting in that postcard. Will you please share it with us? There were 6 or 7 people present. Bhagavan said with a smile, worldly people have attachment to the body only as long as they live. But some of these sannyasis, these monks, who are supposed to have renounced the world, are attached to their bodies even after they die. The listeners did not understand. Bhagavan continued, this postcard is from a sannyasin who is 80 years old. He has appealed for funds saying, I may die any day. Since my body has to be placed in a samadhi which has to be built well, please send me donations. In the 1930s, when Bhagavan was about 50 years old, an old man in his 90s came to Bhagavan. He looked very pious and prostrated several times before Bhagavan, crying all the while. He said, Bhagavan, I have only one prayer. Bhagavan, as usual, looked at the speaker without asking him to continue. The old man said, Bhagavan, you should live for 100 years. I should see that you live for 100 years. Everybody was moved with his prayer, which was almost like a blessing that Bhagavan should live for 100 years. Bhagavan hid his smile. Kunjuswamy, being a humorous person himself, knew that Bhagavan had a witty response to this. After an hour, when this old man had gone away, he went near Bhagavan and asked, Bhagavan, I noticed that you smiled. What was the reason? Bhagavan, amused, said, You are all moved, isn't it? That he asked that I should live for 100 years. Do you know what that means? That he has to live 140 years, because he said, I want to see you live for 100 years. When people from different branches of philosophy asked Kunjuswamy questions, he found he had no answers. Many people from Tamil Nadu, especially those who follow the path of Saiva Siddhanta, plied him with questions. There was a mutt where they held classes on Saiva Siddhanta, so he decided to go there and learn it. He went to Bhagavan and informed him, Bhagavan, I am going to this place to learn Saiva Siddhanta. Oh, why? Bhagavan asked. Kunjuswamy replied, when people come here, they have so many questions. If I learn, then I can answer their queries. Oh, that is very good. So you are going to learn Saiva Siddhanta so that others' questions can be answered. Suppose someone comes with a question on Advaita, Vedanta, what will you do? You will go and learn Advaita, Vedanta. And if someone comes and talks to you in Sanskrit, what will you do? you will go and learn Sanskrit. If Westerners come to you speaking in English, how will you answer them? Then will you go and learn English too? By now, Kunjuswamy knew that Bhagavan was pulling his leg. He demurred, Bhagavan, please pardon me. I am not going anywhere. Please teach me. It is only because of love that I want to help the others. Bhagavan then gave him a gracious look and said, if you learn to remain in the heart as I am, the answers to any questions that are put to you will emerge like an echo from within, and they will be the correct answers. Learn to remain within your heart as I am. In another incident, there was a group of people trying to disturb the ashram management. Kunjuswamy happened to enter the old hall, and since everyone stood there, Kunjuswamy too stood there. Bhagavan looked at him. What business have you got here? Why have you come join these people? Kunjuswamy did not know what to say. He had not come to join them. Bhagavan asked again, what purpose did you come for? Bhagavan, I came for getting your grace. Kunjuswamy replied. The master rebuked him. Then attend to that. Why are you standing here? That day, Bhagavan taught him the lesson that we must attend only to the purpose for which we all have come. It is to recognize the truth. It is not just for Kunjuswamy that Bhagavan said this, but for everyone. This is Bhagavan's direct teaching, and as Kunjuswamy confirmed to me, a sound and practical one, that we should not interfere in others' affairs. In 1932, after serving Bhagavan personally day and night for 12 years, Kunjuswamy wanted to intensify his practice of self-enquiry by keeping himself aloof from the ashram. He trained a young man called Madhava Swami on how to attend to Bhagavan. Kunjuswamy waited for the day to tell Bhagavan that he was retiring from service and he would be staying in Palakuttu in the next compound. He was hesitant as he did not know how to break the news to his master. While still in this dilemma, one day as he entered the hall, he heard Bhagavan explaining to others that real service to him did not mean attending to his physical needs but practicing his teachings. Once before, he has said, it is no use in saying, I have been doing personal service to the Guru. One should abide by the teaching of the Guru every day. A few days later, on another occasion, he heard Bhagavan say, the best service to the Guru is engaging in self-enquiry, meditation and other spiritual practices with purity of body, speech and mind. He kept chancing upon Bhagavan, saying this morning and evening for several days. He had been hesitating to tell Bhagavan of his plans, but Bhagavan himself had taken the cue and given him an answer. Another day, when he entered Bhagavan's hall, Bhagavan was quoting from the Kaivalya Navanitam, wherein the disciple asked the Guru how he can repay him from the grace he has received from him. The Guru replies, the highest return the disciple can render to the Guru is to remain fixed in the self without being disturbed by obstacles and outward distractions. This finally emboldened Kunjuswamy. He prostrated before Bhagavan and said, Bhagavan, I want to go and live in Palakuttu and pursue self-enquiry. Bhagavan was delighted and exclaimed, oh good, it is enough if the mind is kept one-pointed in vichara, dhyana, japa and parayana. Vichara is enquiry, dhyana is meditation, japa is chanting, a mantra, and parayana is repeatedly singing the works of the master without aspiring for anything else. Kunjuswamy again prostrated before Bhagavan and pleaded, Bhagavan, please bless me. I am going to be alone, away from you. Guide me. Bhagavan looked at him graciously and said, the most beautiful thing. Make self-enquiry your final aim, but also practice meditation japa, and parayana. Practice them relentlessly. If you tire of meditation, take to japa. If you tire of japa, take to self inquiry. If you tire of that, do the chanting of verses. Do not have a gap between them. Do not allow the mind to sway from your task. Practice this faithfully, and in the end, you will be established in self inquiry and find culmination in self realization. This is an assurance not just to Kunjuswamy but to every listener of this profound statement by the Master. Be assured, self inquiry will establish you in the truth that you already are. Kunjuswamy lived in a small hut in Palakuttu and did not earn money or beg for it. Whatever provisions he had was exhausted. There was no food to eat. Bhagavan would visit Palakuttu after lunch, where he would take a walk around the small pool there. He would invariably meet Kunjuswamy and ask, "How are you? What are you doing? Are you doing your meditation? Are you doing your self inquiry?" Kunjuswamy never told him of his plight, feeling that it was quite petty to tell his master about his physical problems. Did he not already know? On the third day after Kunjuswamy had shifted to Palakuttu, one Gounder, a wealthy devotee of Bhagavan, came and prostrated before him in the hall. He was Kunjuswamy's friend, so Bhagavan commented, "Oh, you have come to see your friend." He replied, "Yes, Bhagavan, I was exhausted yesterday after a whole day's work and was fast asleep. You visited me in my dream and said, 'You are sleeping peacefully while your friend is hungry for the last 3 days. Is it proper on your part to sleep like this?' So I immediately got up and caught a train to come here. Go and see your friend." Bhagavan told him. When he met Kunjuswamy, he realized that his friend had in fact not eaten for 3 days, and there was nothing in his humble abode. He gave Kunjuswamy some money for provisions and fed him. He then had to go back, but vowed in Bhagavan's presence, "Bhagavan, I will not allow him to go without food. I will send him 5 rupees every month." In those days, 5 rupees was more than enough to meet one's needs. Kunjuswamy said, "I had nothing, no utensils, nothing." Another friend saw this and he immediately brought me a stove and provisions. Years later, Gounder even built a house for Kunjuswamy opposite the ashram. Kunjuswamy used to tearfully say, "When you have surrendered to the Master, that is to the truth. Do not try to exert yourself by even making a prayer. He knows everything. It will happen in its own time." During his stay in Palakuttu, Ramana Ashramam grew rapidly and many visitors started coming to the ashram. Kunjuswamy needed Bhagavan to talk to him every day, even if it was only one sentence. However, with Bhagavan becoming very busy, this was becoming increasingly difficult. Kunjuswamy recalled gleefully, "I am a very clever man. Every evening we had Parayana of the Tamil verses composed by Bhagavan from the collected works of Ramana Maharishi. I used to deliberately miss one line while singing, and Bhagavan would say, 'Hey Kunju, you have missed that line.' Or I would mispronounce a word, and he would say, 'No, no, Kunju, it is not like that. Pronounce it properly.' I would be so happy that he spoke to me. Every day, whenever I wanted Bhagavan to talk to me, I knew the trick." Let's continue with the story in the next chapter. That's all, folks. Thank you. Bye bye. Rama Rama Pupoda.